Turn A Gundam is a 1999 Japanese animated series directed by Yoshiyuki Tomino, animated by Studio Sunrise, and is one of my favorite Gundam entries, not specifically because of its narrative, its animation, or its politics, but because it's a Gundam series that I can actually relax to. I mean, Turn A Gundam still has plenty of action scenes, anti-war political messages, and stellar animation sequences, but above all those other elements, what really captured my interest in the series was the atmosphere. The setting and environment of Turn A Gundam is basically that of a reconstructed 19th century America, so the most common visuals are farmlands and country landscapes where the main characters often help people with their daily lives and chores when they're not fighting inside of giant robots. For me, it's a Gundam anime with the tone of a Studio Ghibli movie and the aesthetics of a frontier western. It's like visiting your grandma's rustic farmhouse and then heading out on a road trip throughout the southern United States, Mexico, and Central America while visiting Native American museums and reading science fiction novels, all within the same time frame. The Western influence in Turn A Gundam is no accident, as Sid Mead, the guy who designed vehicles in Blade Runner, Aliens, and the original Tron, would go on to design the first draft of the titular Turn A Gundam robot and become the show's lead mechanical designer. The Turn A itself may have a mustache instead of a V-fin, so it doesn't really look like your standard Gundam robot, but I think it's endearing, and it helps reinforce Turn A Gundam's status as a truly different, unique Gundam series. Plus, there's also the Turn X Gundam, which is more emblematic of Sid Mead's visual style, and apparently has the shining finger attack from G Gundam. Excuse me? Based off of what I've seen of Gundam F91 and G-Reco compared to the early Gundam anime, I'd say that director Yoshiyuki Tomino is at his best when he's working with long-form episodic storytelling, and Turn A Gundam is probably one of the better examples of this, where the filler episodes give the series breathing room, as well as a sense of authentic life that draws the audience into the world of the story. Of course, I do still enjoy it when TV shows have a smaller, limited number of episodes because it usually forces the story to feel really tight and focuses it in a specific direction, but given how Tomino is so interested in daily routines and small character interactions, I don't think that a shorter format would be the best place for him to work on a Mobile Suit Gundam story. If Turn A Gundam, and by extension Yoshiyuki Tomino and the production staff, were limited to only the 25 episode range, it would not be as good of a show as it is. The whole plot of Turn A Gundam is that thousands of years in the distant future, planet Earth has reset itself, and the human race is now divided into two separate societies. There's the people living on Earth, who have effectively recreated 19th century America with the same technology and social practices, and there's the Moon race, the rest of human society who live on the Moon and as such are more technologically advanced. Our main character, and the first black protagonist in a Gundam series, is Loran Sahak, an advanced scout sent from the Moon race to find out if the Earth's surface is safe and hospitable to live on. And for a while, things seem to be going pretty good. Loran gets a nice job as a chauffeur for an Earth family, which might be a little racially insensitive given how a black character is so happy to be in a service role for white people, and he really feels like he's at home in their society. But before the Moon's politicians can extend a formal greeting to their intended neighbors, the Moon race's military acts on their own and attacks the Earth civilization, sparking a war between the organized forces of the Moon people and the various militias of the Earth people, whose only hope is the Turn A Gundam, piloted by none other than Loran Sahak. Despite being from the Moon race, Loran actually fights to protect the people of Earth, while doing his best not to kill any of the Moon pilots in the process. He wants to do the right thing, but he doesn't want anyone to die, which is one of my favorite qualities in a Gundam protagonist. Loran is kind, empathetic, responsible, optimistic, and wants to believe in people, which is probably why he still has loyalty to Queen Diana Sorial, the moon's political ruler who genuinely wants the two societies to peacefully coexist. The moon people as a whole aren't the bad guys, rather it's specifically the moon race's military, because they actively want to start wars and think that armed conflicts are good for society. My only complaint regarding Turn A's villains is that the antagonist with the most foreshadowing ends up not being the final boss, and the real final boss just kind of shows up without as much telegraphing. Also, the nudity in this show is, really weird. I don't care if it's supposed to be naturalistic, it's still creepy, and I don't like it. With that being said, Turn A Gundam still has a lot of fun with its story beats. There's a Prince and the Pauper subplot where the Moon Queen switches places with the older sister character who looks exactly like her. At one point, Loran wears drag, but it's not framed as a transphobic man in a dress joke. It's an actual plot point so that the Moon people don't recognize who he is. And Harry Ord, the show's resident Char clone, eventually becomes a supporting character. He may look a little ridiculous, but he's honestly just a really chill guy, which is kind of like a metaphor for the show itself. If anything, you should watch Turn A Gundam because it's not just a unique Gundam anime, it's a unique Gundam experience that leaves you with specific feelings that you're not going to receive from any other entry in the series. It's a Gundam anime that romanticizes peace and tranquility more so than the giant robots. And although some might say that the concept of it taking place after literally every Gundam series undermines what the characters in those shows were working towards, or implies that the human race will constantly destroy themselves, I also think it implies that humanity will always be able to rebuild. That even after numerous apocalyptic events, the human race is capable of surviving them to create a better future. In that sense, Turn A Gundam is a series that I can relax to because it tells me that no matter what happens in the Gundam timeline, everything is going to be okay.